Do you guys want to see the coolest thing I've seen a gacha character do? Yeah, let's talk about it. Hello there, Flip here, and today I'm going to be giving an overview and guide of the new limited S-rank support who has dropped in NTE, Htorii, showcasing how her kit works, as well as her role and impact in teams, the best ways to gear her, and all the other cool things she can do outside of combat. But before we get into it, first of all, thank you to NTE for sponsoring the video. This is a game I've talked about before, being one of the most anticipated and fun releases of 2026. It's the first anime-style urban open-world RPG, packing 40 anomaly stages for you to challenge yourselves with, a massive city with tons of fun activities for you to do besides combat, and you get to tackle all of this alongside the 17 playable characters for you to collect. And thankfully NTE is available on almost all platforms, with full cross-platform support, so make sure you check it out for yourselves by downloading it using my link in the description below. And without further ado, let's talk about Htorii. Htorii is an S-rank Cosmos character who's a solid archetype, and being the first limited support in the game, she's currently shaping up to just be the best in her role as a Blossom support through her strong off-field damage and buffs. So I can tell you right off the bat that she's going to be someone you want to pick up. Getting into her abilities, there isn't really anything noteworthy about her basic normal attack string. They do a good amount of damage, and you'll just be cycling through them while using the other parts of her kit. Speaking of which, Htorii has a special resource called non-closed timepiece energy, which, to save me some time, I'll just shorten to time energy for now. And time energy is just something that generates passively with Htorii. When she has enough time energy, this allows her to cast her skill Present Replay, which, as the name suggests, will record the first support and redirect skills used by each of your allies for the next 5 seconds, on top of dealing AoE Cosmos damage. Only using her skill will just keep a record of your other allies' abilities, but if you want her to cast these recorded skills, this is where you want to use her ultimate that is only available when you have maximum time energy. Casting this ultimate will literally stop time for all the enemies around you for 10 seconds, on top of any challenge timers, and enemies cannot be moved in this state, as well as effects like DOTs not being able to take place, since time is paused. You deal a ton of instances of Cosmos damage initially, all the recorded skills will go off while also consuming the record, and you can either wait 10 seconds for the time stop to end, or in combat landing 10 attacks will end the state prematurely with a finisher attack. So with Htorii, most of her rotations are going to start by casting her skill, and then you're going to want to cycle through all your other teammates' skills, and then using Htorii's ultimate before or after your main carry's field time. For talent priority, Htorii's ultimate is the most important part of her kit, and is where most of your damage comes from, so make sure to level that up first, followed by her skill and normal attacks last. Then her Ascension passives don't really change that much about her, it's just a generic quality of life and damage boost, with her first combat passive allowing you to still deal Blossom damage while time is frozen, so the damage from Vita Buds still remain, and her second combat passive increases her ultimate's finisher damage by 100%, because it simply just wasn't strong enough already. Now for her gearing, this is relatively simple, I won't bore you. Htorii wants to use the Cosmos damage buffing set in her console, Lost Radiance, and here's the module formula for that, if you did not know, and most of Hotorii's value comes from her dealing damage, so try and get as many DPS substats as possible, like crit, damage, cycle intensity, and attack. Her arc options aren't really that expensive right now, but of course her general best one will be her signature Marching Beyond Time, due to being a crit stat stick, on top of giving extra things like Def Ignore and ultimate crit damage buffs. Outside of her signature, Fluff of Fearlessness, which is the battle pass weapon, is surprisingly really good for her, if not just better than her signature in some cases. So honestly, just get Htorii's Awakenings if you have access to this. And if you can't get either of these, have fun getting Heather as keeper. Next up, team building for Htorii can actually be deeper than it seems. Being a Cosmos character, she obviously functions in Remora, Blossom, and Charge teams, with her kit facilitating use in Blossom teams as a sub DPS for them. This makes her have a very clear pairing with Nanali, who is the current best Anima DPS alongside Ji-Yuan, who can aid the team with triggering Blossom herself, as well as raising the Blossom cap, but if you don't have her, Sakiri and Haniel are alright alternatives. Then for your last slot, just use Zero, who helps you to start Esper cycles immediately. This team is an upgrade to the Nanoli hypercarry teams who were already insane before, and there's nothing you can really throw at this team that won't immediately evaporate, due to how much Htorii is boosting the team. The only thing to keep in mind is that even though Nanoli's skill can be recorded, she doesn't gain her skill effect when the recorded skill is cast for the crit damage buff, so there's generally no need to ever record her skill in a normal gameplay loop. Outside of Nanoli, if you have Ji-Yuan, as well as Hotorii's signature or Awakenings, she can also just be a very powerful DPS in her own right, and you would just replace Nanoli manually with a support like Sakiri to complete the team. And speaking of Sakiri, just the fact that Htorii is able to copy skills alone does give her a pretty ridiculous amount of flexibility. So even if she isn't fully synergistic in some teams, being able to copy really strong skills can allow her to be played in a wide variety of teams. And I can't wait to see what ridiculous pairings are going to be created from this. Now to close out this guide, I'm going to be discussing her awakenings, which you will receive on top of getting duplicates of Htorii. And most of her awakenings are strong and worth pulling if you want to get extra power out of her. And also another reason to dump pulls into Htorii's banner is the fact that you actually get in-game rewards for doing so. Upon pulling 120 times, you'll be able to claim a vehicle skin, and if you do 200 pulls, you get this gorgeous skin for Htorii as well, as you can see here. Which I think is sweet, as most people who pull a lot for characters do like the character, and now you can just get extra things for them. Tangent aside, her first awakening will give her 12% bonus damage on each recorded skill during her time stop, which is essentially just 24 to 36% bonus damage, and is also kind of what her second awakening does, increasing damage by 20% via being in time stop. Her third awakening is just some quality of life by restoring time energy spent after casting her skill. Her fourth awakening is more quality of life, as you gain extra time energy for defeating opponents. Her fifth awakening is a team-wide 15% damage increase if you are facing a single enemy, and her 6th awakening is a 30% defense ignore during time stop. In this game, you can freely swap between awakenings depending on how many you own, so in my opinion you should prioritize her damage boosting ones like her A6, A1, and A2, and from there the rest of them are quality of life or situational. I really don't think you need to go any further than that, and she most likely will have pulled enough to get her skin by the time you reach those 3 awakenings, so it works out great. Now even though the guide portion of the video is done, there are still more things regarding Htorii I want to discuss. Now Htorii is very obviously a gorgeous looking character, as you've hopefully been seeing throughout the whole guide, and zooming in now you can see the very intricate details with her design, with my favorite part being both her earrings and the plethora of hair accessories she has in her head. Let's hope she never has to look down because they're all going to fall out. But besides her base outfit, here is a better look at the one you get for pulling her up to 200 times. It further doubles down on her regal aesthetic and elevates her base design in my opinion. And then you have her lounger outfit, which you can obtain by increasing your bond level with her, and I appreciate how despite obviously being a more casual outfit, it still portrays an air of importance, and is honestly my favorite outfit for her. Oh, and that part I showed in the intro.
And thus, time flows on.
Yes, she can just stop time in the overworld, which is ludicrous. I've never seen a character able to affect the environment like this in any other gacha game. I have no idea how the devs pulled something like this off. It's not just the NPCs and the traffic as well, by the way, even the snow and rain particles stop too. What? Anyways, I think I've rambled enough. Htorii is an insanely cool character to traverse with, and she's going to be one of the most broken additions you can have to any combat encounters, from her high damage output and skill duplication, which is something no other character in this game can really do besides her. And she's also the perfect partner to Blossom teams, while being strong enough to be a DPS. You really can't go wrong with her. And if you want to use her for yourselves, make sure to try out NTE via my link in the description below. Thanks once again to NTE for sponsoring the video, and I'll see you guys on the flip side. Peace.